Welcome to another episode of the Swoosh Shoes Podcast, episode number 17. It's hosts Eric, Ernest, and Armani, and we have reached All-Star Break 2022 in Cleveland, Ohio. So last night we had the Rising Stars Challenge. Tonight it's gonna be All-Star Saturday night. And tomorrow is the All-Star game.
Yeah. But first and foremost, right, before we get to All-Star break, there were a slew of things that happened throughout the week of the NBA. DeMar DeRozan's emergence, obviously, the I wouldn't say fallout, but the remnants of now the trade deadline is over, it's past us, we're a week behind it now. And then the Knicks.
I can't even say it's been an emergence for DeMar DeRozan. He's been doing this the entire season.
No, yeah, I think more so, and we'll get into that later. I just think more so, with Zach LaVine being out and all that, we've never seen DeMar on this level as a lone star. So that's the reason why I use the word emergence. AD's injury, right? We'll talk about that. We do have a Twitter Spaces coming up at 5 p.m. So join us on Twitter.
Oh man, here we go again.
We'll talk about the Lakers front office and the Knicks front office. And speaking of the Knicks, one of the highlights and lowlights in Eric's estimation of the season, the Knicks the other day played the Brooklyn Nets. It was Thursday, correct? Thursday? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Sorry, Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday on ESPN. Knicks versus Nets. The Nets went into the Garden without Kyrie, without Ben Simmons, without Kevin Durant. The Knicks take a commanding 28-point lead. And going into the second half, kind of thought the game was over. Even before the game started, I kind of felt the Knicks were going to win this one pretty handedly, due to the fact that this lack of stars for the Nets and their bench is kind of suspect. Even with the addition of Andre Drummond and Seth Curry, which I think when fully healthy will be a huge addition for the Nets for their playoff run. But yeah, man, regular season, middle of February, dog days of the league, you're up 28. Usually, you as the Nets, you pack it in. The Knicks, you put them away and you do what you got to do. But unfortunately, everyone, that didn't happen. The New York Knicks proceeded to collapse in the second half. To blow a 28-point lead to let a rookie by the name of Cam Thomas to drop 16 points in the fourth quarter, which was inexcusable. It kind of it felt like when the Lakers, when we were playing the OKC Thunder and we blew that lead twice. We did it twice, and then that was relatively I would say a headache, to say the least, to say the nicest way to say it. So as we talk about the Knicks, man, and it's been getting really ugly. There's a lot of issues going on. They traded a first round pick for Cam Reddish, who has yet to see quality minutes. Don't know what's going on with Tibbs and how his rotations are forming. We're just seeing Taj Gibson play over 20 minutes a game in 2022, which is insane. All he's missing is Joakim Noah. That's all, and he'll be getting minutes too. But yeah, the Knicks are a dumpster fire right now. It's not looking good. Julius Randle, and it's been all season. It's been like things going on. Julius Randle's at odds with the fans, at odds with his teammates, coaching staff. Here and there. Young guys are outplaying the veterans, but the young guys are not getting minutes. The veterans are not really producing. But this collapse, sums it up for the season for the Knicks. So, as an avid Knicks fan, for Eric, we'll let you speak on this and explain what's going on, man. And how did you feel with that collapse? Like, I know you were at the game, so being there live, I'm sure the reaction of the crowd, the booing, the yelling and the frustration had to be put on display for sure. Because watching it on TV was just like an epic meltdown. Um, you know, I want to laugh, but I can't. You know, because the Lakers are in no better position right now. You know, so it's just I find solace in the fact that sometimes you know the Knicks fans, you know, the beginning of the year were like talking crazy, and rightfully so. Fourth seed, they got Kimba coming home. He about to put on for the city. You know what I'm saying? Evan Fournier, you see what he did in Boston last year? You know, like they got these guys in, and they gave Julius Randle that extension, and I was just like, okay, let's see. And you know, to my credit, I don't like to toot my horn, but I did say I think this is going to be a problem, and I do not think it'll work. Eric thought otherwise, but as a fan, you should stick up for your team, right? And you should have you should have a somewhat, and I understand, a biased opinion as to why things may work, and make excuses, so to speak, for the front office and their moves. But at the same time, the product on the floor has not produced at all. Subpar at the most right now. Um, so Eric, you got the floor, man, and you know, just let us know your experience at the Garden and during that collapse, and you know, listen, cry a river and build a bridge and get over it, man, because it's nasty. It's nasty. And
Okay.
floor's yours.
All right. So let me explain this. When they had the 28-point lead in the second quarter, I was like, I was not impressed at all, because I seen too many Knicks games this season where they have big leads the first half, come third quarter, here comes the third quarter of doom. And guess what? We had they followed the same exact script, and I wasn't even surprised. I told people who were sitting in the same row, I was like, yo, they got a 28-point lead. Watch them blow this third quarter, and in fourth quarter, they're gonna struggle with the Nets. We tied at 99, and let's 5 minutes to go in the game. And guess what happened? It was tied at 99 with like 3 minutes ago, and then Cam Thomas finished the Knicks off.
You should have put money on that.
I wanted to, but I was like, I'm gonna stay away from this game. You know, so not only
it's crazy. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't like to bet on Laker games either, because like I'm too emotionally invested. So like I just stay away.
Well, I don't bet on games. I just do the parlays, you know, the player parlays. So that's much more easy to take.
Not when you bet 20 and a half over on Julius Randle and he puts up 6 points. I'll never forgive him for that.
Yeah, he cost me. I'm gonna say this. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it so it's after the show, after this pod. So not only was this game, well, actually think about it. Last couple months, they've been inconsistent. I mean, in terms of the starting five has not been good at all. Inconsistent. Julius Randle mentally checked out, and once he on national TV said, "Shut the F up" to the Knicks fan base, and the thumbs down on a national TV game at MSG, and said that to the Knicks fans. That was it for me with him, because as a leader, you don't do that, and as a leader, you're supposed to show more leadership than mature leadership, and to your teammates and to the franchise. So we're out on him with that. I know he's been putting up big numbers, like averaging 29 a game the last 5 games. To me, empty stats. Okay. This entire month, their record is 1-7. Okay. Out of those 8 games they played, they had double-digit leads against the Lakers, double-digit leads against the Jazz at Utah. They had a double-digit lead, a 23-point lead at Portland, double-digit lead twice home to the Thunder, and double-digit leads to the Nets. All 5 games. In all 5 games, they lost. Okay.
So let's get a little more specific. So I'm going to go through the whole month of February for the Knicks. So
yeah, because
the month of February. And February 2nd, they were against the Grizzlies. They led by 1 going into the fourth quarter. Lost that game.
I was at that game.
February 5th against the Lakers at LA, up by 21. Lost that game. February 7th at Utah, up by 12, lost that game. February 8th at Denver, fourth quarter, up by 5, led by 5, lost that game as well. February 10th at Golden State, up 13 in the second in the fourth quarter, and they won the game, but they blew the lead.
Yeah.
Then you get to Saturday at Portland, 23-point lead, lost that game. Monday against OKC, led by 11, lost that game, and then this past Wednesday, up by 28 against the Nets in the second half and lost that game as well.
All I have to say is you're welcome. That is all.
Yeah.
So
thank you for the collapse because we needed that win.
We needed that.
So now it's got to a point where the season's lost. And now we've been suspecting the last couple of weeks is that the front office and the coaching staff, they're not on the same page. Take, for example, the Cam Reddish trade. Leon Rose, the front office, World Wide West, they traded the first round pick, and Kevin Knox, who was a non-rotational player, for Cam Reddish. Tibbs, on the other hand, was not in favor of it. And also, he said that on the press conference, he said, and let me just correctly quote, is that we already have enough guys in the rotation, so it's going to be difficult for him to get into the rotation. So if that's the case, why would you trade a first-round pick, even though it would be a late first-round pick, for a guy who's drafted in the same draft class as R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson in the top 10? That's number one. Number two, there's also bickering about the Knicks not making a deadline move. Tibbs is not happy about the Knicks not making a move because he felt like if they couldn't make a move, they would be at least more, competitive in the standings and going forward. But at the same time, the front office is like, no, we're going to stay packed. That also did not go well with Tibbs. So now you got bickering, and also just past a couple of days ago, there was a report out on SNY and the New York Post saying that World Wide West went to James Dolan's ear and said he's culpable for he's one of the main reasons why the Knicks are having the season that they're having.
Well, duh.
So, but also, like here's the thing I always hate when front office want to blame the coach. Like, yeah, I understand. Like, you have to put players. Hold on. I understand you got to put players in position to win, right? While you're the coach, and you got to be able to have your rotations right, know your players' tendencies, understand where their strengths are, put and run plays that'll help optimize their talent in the best way, right? But also, it's not the coach's fault that this is the team that he's given. The coach doesn't make decisions on who gets signed or not, unless you're Greg Popovich or something like that. But so at the end of the day, even though World Wide West is pointing the finger saying, Tibbs is the reason why the team isn't good, that's not entirely true. You're also the reason that the Knicks aren't good because you're the one who actually gave Evan Fournier a 3-year contract. Mm-hmm. You're the one who went and got Kemba Walker from the Thunder. You know what I'm saying?
It did make a deadline move.
You're the one who brought back Taj Gibson, who elected to give Julius Randle the extension. Like, it's not all on Tibbs. Tibbs was very successful last year because he had players who brought into the system and they were able to play. He had the right players that were able to be optimized in his offense and his defensive schemes. He doesn't have that anymore because, like I said in the beginning of the year, you guys went offense, but you have a defensive coach. So the mix is not gonna make sense. So from the beginning, there was a disconnect. So it's not all on Tibbs. Tibbs is gonna, at the end of the day, I say this, and again, I'll talk about this in the spaces, but this is about the coaching staff saying, because you didn't give me what I want, I'm going to do what I'm good at, and whether we win or lose, I'm going to die on that sword on my philosophy because I'd rather go out that way. And unfortunately, the stubbornness comes in. You can't teach an old dog new tricks sometimes, and you have this, duality of issues between the front office and the coaching staff, and now with the players. So I understand what Wes is saying, but also he needs to take accountability. And Stephen A. Smith, as much as sometimes he could be annoying, he did say, "Where the hell is Leon Rose?" Because at the end of the day,
listen.
because at the end of the day, hold on, wait. I know you're gonna go off, but because at the end of the day, like you're president of basketball operations, you need to be front and center addressing these issues to the media or whatever the case is, instead of being hidden. Because no one knows where he is. No one ever sees him. He doesn't do press conference. He doesn't talk. He's the Kawhi of GMs, if you really think about it. So like, it's just weird what's going on and at the Garden right now.
So we've been begging for Leon Rose to come out and just say something. Tell us what is the direction of this Knicks team. Where are we going? Okay, are we pivoting one way or pivoting another? Because what we're saying is we're doing the in between, and it's not working. So they need to go and pick a direction, one direction. If you're playing to compete, okay, say that. If you're going to go long term, then say that. But for him not to come out and at least tell us what direction, what are the plans, not even say nothing during trade deadline, and not doing nothing. Like,
at least Rob Pelinka came out and said something.
At least something. At least something.
So this is what I was saying on the last podcast. Pretty much in the same situation that the Lakers are in right now. Like, you guys feel confident of the season that you guys had last year. You had trust in Julius. Well, management, front office had trust in Julius Randle to give him the extension. Even I know that Knicks fans felt otherwise. So you guys just went into the season expecting to win gold with pennies, if that makes any sense. And when the deadline came, you guys seen that the pieces of the puzzle started to fall apart like early in the early beginnings of the season. And we already seen that the train was going off the tracks quickly. So when you guys got to the deadline, it was like, all right, we stuck. We're in too deep and we just don't know what to do. So it's like you said, the in between, basketball purgatory. We're not in the middle of the pack, but we're not going to tank either. So it's just like, what do we do? We're just stuck.
And on top of that, it's like, what moves do you make that's going to make you marginally better? Like, that's the thing with the Lakers too. Like, the Lakers had an issue of, okay, standing pat the trade deadline. Like, I always felt and again, I don't want to harp on it, but we're going to talk about this in the spaces. What bothers me is that you have a 19-year-old veteran, right? A 19-year NBA vet, right? One of the greatest players of all time. You can't stand pat, right? So you got to be able to maximize his opportunities to win. But like, it's almost like confusing as to, okay, like, you don't want to mortgage your future, but you understand that LeBron's not going to be in your future. So what are we doing? Like, for the Knicks, okay, you guys made the 4th seed last year. Cool. You guys added these vets to, and I understand, and I get it. You want to have more veteran guys in the locker room because you're trying to make a playoff push. Young guys kind of don't understand that they don't understand that process, that they haven't yet to, get that experience. So you want to bring a few young guys along. You don't want to overhaul and then have a bunch of young guys and think that's going to help you guys win, because it's not. You're really not. So the Knicks, what they should have done was, immediately when they saw coming to the trade deadline, hey, this team ain't really going to make it, and the veteran guys that we have are not going to bring back anything marginable for us to be even more successful than we are today. So let's honestly, the direction we should go for the rest of the year is just, let's get a high draft pick. Let's trade off all these old guys. These vets, I hate to say old guys, but these vets, let's trade them and get whatever pieces we can get back, whether it's young guys in return or picks, and then flip those picks into either extra draft equity or maybe to a young up-and-coming star player, whatever the case is. But there's no direction into what they want to do, because they still want to compete, but at the same time, you're losing. Right. And you're standing pat because you can't get better. So what? It's either, it has to be Tibbs coach as we're going to win, or Tibbs play the young guys because this season is a wash. And I hate punting seasons, but sometimes you got to see the writing on the wall and make moves ahead of time that'll set you up for the offseason, right? Like,
So
I personally think like the Lakers, the reason why they I pray that I'm right, and I could be very, very wrong. I'm hoping what the Lakers are doing is saying, hey, LeBron, no trade out there is going to make our team insignificantly better. Like no player that we can add to this roster will catapult us to the top 6 seed in the West, right? So giving up, THT in a first round pick and Kendrick Nunn and Westbrook to Houston for John Wall and Christian Wood isn't gonna push us further past Memphis, Golden State, or Phoenix. So, in my estimation, I'm predicting what they're thinking is, okay, if we wait, we can have 2 first-round draft picks plus Taylor Horton Tucker that we could actually play the rest of the year, so his stock can go up, and Kendrick Nunn should be back. Teams will be able to see how he plays, and then we also have Russ's expiring contract.
Yeah, he was on court the other day.
Right, so, you can take those assets and then flip that for something that's really big. You can get a star in return. You can get someone that can make an impact for the next year for LeBron, for him to win, for the team to win the championship. I don't know what the Knicks are doing though. So that's the thing. Like, I can't predict. Like, okay, you're gonna tank and go to the draft, but at the same time, the fans want you guys to win. Young guys are not gonna help you guys win at the expectation that you guys want. So I don't know what the focus is for the fans and for the team itself.
So let me explain. So there's a section of the Knicks fan base. They got this quote. Shout out to my man State NYK podcast. He coined this phrase, "Almighty 4th seed." So what he meant by last year, when they made the run to the playoffs and finished 4th, it raised expectations that they had no business where they had no business of having those expectations. Now what it did was it got them back to the middle of the pack, and they were not able to take advantage of last year's loaded draft. So,
but here's the thing.
No. Let me finish. So now
this doesn't make sense.
No, but here's the thing though. So with Leon Rose and in the front office, they decided, okay, let's go for it. But it accelerated the rebuild, because right now they're still in rebuild mode. They're not a finished product. The roster is not a finished product. The whole everything is not a finished product. They are not in a spot where they can contend and compete with the top dogs in the East. So what is the end game? Okay, you finish 4th. Okay, so you're gonna sign more vets to at least prolong.
But you build on that success though. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Right. But also they also re-sign guys to the Nerlens Noels, who's been MIA all season long. Evan Fournier, who
he shows up when he wants to.
He shows up out of every 5 games, and they basically outbid themselves, giving him $78 million when no one was going to give him that kind of money. Derrick Rose, I understand the Derrick Rose signing. Taj Gibson, why they re-signing and still playing 25 minutes? So that's what we meant by almighty 4th seed, meaning that you re-sign those guys, and you also sign Kemba Walker for 2 years, even though it's a low risk move. And you're telling us that, okay, we're still going for it, even though we got the young guys who we drafted late in the draft, but we're gonna have prioritize competing, see if we can continue what he did last year. At the same time, this roster is like, this team is not ready to compete for a championship. So
here's the thing.
Are they beating the Bucks? Are they beating the Heat? Are they beating the Bulls? Are they beating the?
Remember, the East got better this year, and we called that.
But I told you the East got better though. Like,
called it.
See, here's the thing.
But now it's coming. Now it's coming to fruition that they messed up in the offseason. Now they're in a spot where they have to pick a direction, and I gotta say, listen, you gotta at least see what the young guys have, because the veterans they're losing with the veterans, and it's not even close. So And now people saying, yo, we gotta go for the 10 seed for what? To get slaughtered in the playing tournament? And even if they get out of the playing tournament, you get the 8 seed. Y'all really telling me that they're gonna compete against the Bulls or the Heat or the Sixers or the Bucks
or even the Nets, bro?
Even the Nets.
Yeah.
So
KD will be back.
come on, man. You saw what happened Wednesday. So now they have to go to that direction. They have to go. Listen, RJ Barrett, he's the franchise guy, and then you build around RJ Barrett. Okay, you got the young core. Let's see what moves they're gonna make on the offseason, and then.
But here's the thing. Like, I have a question for you. Do you guys really think RJ is the franchise guy? You don't know that.
He's the third pick. He's the third overall pick in 2019.
What I feel like, after talking to my bros a lot of them are Knicks fans. I feel like they're just pinning the whole RJ's the future thing because we don't have nobody else to pin it on. That's what it feels like. Has RJ proven that he is the future? He shows signs of it, but it's just like, all right, we ain't got nobody else to pin it on. We don't have nobody to pick for the guy. He's the guy.
Because
that
now,
guy.
Think about it. Melo was a third pick. I mean, and you clearly saw he's a franchise guy. You clearly saw it. I'm not discrediting RJ. I'm not here for the RJ slander because I think RJ is going to be a really, really solid player in the league. But I don't know if he's the franchise guy. I think he's a piece that you need to win the chip, but I don't think you build around him. I don't think that's the guy you build around.
But
unless he takes a John Morant leap, and I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't. And again, maybe I have to see the Knicks give it a shot. But then at the same time, if and when they do that, then the fans are not going to be satisfied because you're going to be losing. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen RJ take a significant jump for you guys to call him the franchise guy. That's just in my opinion. I don't think you guys even have a guy like that yet. I think it's going to come via free agency. I don't think it'll come through the draft and building through the draft.
But here's the thing: no one's coming free agency from the Knicks.
Yeah,
no one's going to come to the Knicks.
So that's what I was saying. That's
what I'm saying though too. So that's my whole point. That's my whole point. You can't
in development.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. You can't just single out and say RJ's the guy because you guys because he's a fan favorite like that.
No, he's not. But here's the thing though, and this
Austin Rivers is a fan favorite for the Lakers. While the Lakers building around him,
but
hell no.
No, but we're not. But he's not. But this is why they should at least, in the front office should have at least last couple years made sure that once they got RJ Barrett, they got to make sure that they get another couple blue chip talents to surround with RJ Barrett. And then instead of going to his free agency and sign power forwards and Julius Randle a couple years ago, and then thinking that they can compete, and now RJ Barrett is surrounded with mid talent on their roster.
But also too, Eric, the thing is, it's public, it's fan pressure, right? Like the fans, y'all been down bad for so long. Hold on, y'all been down bad for so long. So when y'all got Julius Randle and he made the impact to help you guys get to the playoffs and mostly prove was an all-star, New York was on fire because that's what you guys wanted. You guys wanted a competitive team. Now you guys are not competitive and you guys are saying tank. But then when you guys start tanking and losing, you guys become the laughing stock of the league again, and that's what you don't want. So it's a tug of war that doesn't make sense to me because it's either you guys are all in on the tanking and okay with losing because the young guys are playing and you get picks, or you're like, no, we want to win because what winning requires, we don't need them picks. The picks could go. Me, as a Lakers fan, we don't care about them picks.
But right now, the Knicks are not in the space. They're not in the
picks.
They're not but here's the thing, though.
You heard what LeBron said?
But here's the thing, though. The Knicks are not in a space. They're not in a place where they can throw away picks and trade for Dame Lillard. And what's that? What's the end game for that? A second round exit.
But you need a piece for somebody to be attractive to. That's the thing. You got think about this. The Lakers, when they signed LeBron, right? He was the attractive piece. Now all these kids that we had and all those draft picks Anthony Davis. Here comes this guy. Like you gotta get one marquee guy to be the nucleus for other guys to attract, and then you say send them picks off. RJ is not gonna get you anybody because you're gonna need because RJ is there for a rebuild. RJ is not there to be the marquee guy right now.
Let me just say something real quick. So the year that Kobe retired, right, the year after, we brought in Brandon Ingram, and we still had D'Angelo on the team. And me just seeing Brandon Ingram's skill set, I
still had him.
I was like, yo, he's the guy. He's the guy. He got the KD build. He's the guy. And I was pinning on him. And like some games he would show up, right? Straight take you to the basket. Jump shot was a little iffy at that time, but
you saw the development there.
You saw the development, right? But the thing is, like, I don't know, as an entire fan base, we were saying Brandon Ingram's the guy. We were just kind of looking at guys like, all right, some people saying D'Lo's the guy, some people saying B.I.'s the guy, some people say it was Clarkson was the guy, you know? So we was just like kind of like picking.
Some people say Randall was the guy.
People say Randall was the guy. Matter of fact, I was there the night Randall got drafted. I'm like, he's the guy. Like, he's the guy that's going to help Kobe get back to the. You know, I was so delusional back then. You know, but the thing is that they show development. You know, but then when LeBron came and we had Braun, Lonzo, B.I.
You already knew what the time was.
It was two different things that just didn't fit at the same time. I would have loved for us to make the playoffs that year because Stephen A. had us making the Western Conference that year.
Bro, we were the 4th seed before he got hurt.
Right. He had us making the Western Conference that year, and I felt like we would have made the playoffs. I don't know about the Western Conference, but like you said,
the playoffs. Yeah, we made the playoffs.
We was in the 4th seed before LeBron went down with the groin injury, and then next thing you know, I was upset when we traded Lonzo, B.I., Josh Hart, and then we got AD.
Right, he got cut off, but then we got AD, right, and that's the most important piece. Like you look at it, you say, okay, right, we have LeBron, we have these young guys, and maybe to Armani's point, if we made the playoffs, then that dynamic of the front office getting rid of some of those young cats would have changed. But they knew at the end of the day, when LeBron got hurt, B.I. couldn't be the guy. Like Lonzo couldn't be the guy to push them forward. Like if Julius, and again, Julius Randle was playing terrible, but if RJ is the lone guy on that team without Julius, you guys are worse, right? And are you guys okay with that? Like that's the thing. Like there has to be some understanding amongst the fan pressure as well with the front office, because if you guys are clamoring to win, because obviously you're seeing Brooklyn and they getting all these stars, and the Knicks are constantly not making the playoffs. There's public pressure. So at the end of the day, the front office is capitulating to what the fans want. Now the fans are like, no, we don't want this. And it's like, okay, so then what do you like? And I get it. Front office has to make a distinct decision on where they want to go. But the fans, y'all got to be okay with that.
Yep.
Well, because and that's the thing. If y'all start like y'all losing now with the vets, cool. But then the minute I can guarantee you, the minute is a close game and he don't put the vets in and he keeps the young guys in and y'all lose that game, y'all gonna be like, why didn't this guy play? Right, why did this guy get minutes in the fourth quarter? Why did this guy y'all could have helped us win? So it's like it's either or. Like be content with the losing and rebuilding, or be content with the all right. We tried to capitalize off last year, didn't happen, but we're looking to re-up and trade all the young guys in the picks to get more veteran talent in on this team. Well, there's got to be a decision here.
Well, here's the thing. From the fan points that I know, we're pivoting towards that direction because this so and then.
But it's too late because y'all should have done that trade like towards the trade deadline, making all that noise. Like tank. But
now,
like they tried to compete. It's what y'all wanted to do. Like y'all wanted to compete. So when I hear like, and this is what I'm saying, when I hear, oh, it was a mistake getting the 4th seed last year, like, huh? How is that a mistake? Like you want to get better. You
need a building block.
But they were but that roster wasn't that good to be a 4th seed.
But it doesn't matter. But the fact that you guys are building a culture, though, like that's the thing. It doesn't matter that the roster wasn't good. It's because you guys overplayed. So that was the culture of the Knicks.
Expectations got raised up, and I'll say that expectations got raised up. Are they going to be able, with this same roster, are they going to be able to get to those expectations? And they have not. And now they've capped themselves out, and now all bets are off. And Steve even said that all bets are off. We got to look into a different direction after last game. So,
and that's what's frustrating with my bad to cut you off, but that's what's frustrating with the Atlanta Hawks. You know, when we did our most surprising and frustrating teams this season, I had the Atlanta Hawks because when you think about it, I thought about it after the show. The Hawks wasn't supposed to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Did I cut off? Wait.
No.
Did I cut off? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the Hawks, they wasn't supposed to make the Eastern Conference Finals, but the thing is that they did. And you would think that they lost in 6 games. You would think that they would build and just because they already have the foundation. They're like, wow, we made it here with this team. You would think that they'll bring in somebody else, make another piece that will kind of move the needle to say, all right, you know what? We're not just gonna make the conference finals. We're gonna try to go for the chip this time. And they didn't do it. And now they're like so surprised of why the season they're having is playing out the way it's playing out is because they didn't make a key move. And then when they get rid of Cam Reddish in the middle of the season for Kevin Knox, it was just like, what? but okay.
But they also have gotten better since the trade.
Yeah.
And this is why the NBA is the hardest league to win the championship. So we're gonna segue to this week's All-Star festivities.
Man,
so last night, would you say something? Would you say something?
No, I was gonna go ahead because I was gonna harp on the celebrity game because that was.
Yeah, I didn't. Okay, so yesterday we had the All-Star Celebrity Game, which is a non-starter for us. We don't get into that. But
the Rising Stars was good.
Challenge was really good.
Yeah, and the format was fun.
Yeah, I like the format too. The format was really good.
It was confusing at first, but then I was like, you know what? I like this.
Okay, so I put this tweet up last night, and I thought of something that's like, okay, I'm looking at the talent on the All Stars on the Rising Stars.
Oh, and it's here we go. I already know where he's going. Jeez, here we go.
Because so the NBA has an influx of young talent. Young talent. And I think they should just at least start promoting that young talent because the NBA to me is trying to hold on to LeBron and Steph Curry and Kevin Durant so long.
Yeah,
I get it. They're marketable. They're face. They're the face of the league. I get it. But at the same time, you got an influx of young, up and coming generational talent. That's gonna be good for the next 10 to 15 years.
Go ahead,
Armani.
Right.
Go ahead.
So I was going to say because I actually had this conversation
because I know y'all got triggered back because of that LeBron comment. So
no,
it has nothing to do with LeBron.
It has nothing to do with LeBron. It has nothing to do with LeBron. My thing is that the NBA is a marketing business. You can be the best player, but if your personality isn't up there, it's no way to market you.
But hold on. It's not even just that. The NBA is a what have you done for me lately business, right? These rookies have not done anything yet. LeBron,
I'm not talking about the rookies, but I'm talking about also the John Morants. I'm talking about the Luka Doncic,
Giannis. What they do?
Giannis.
The only person
Giannis is not part of that group. Giannis ain't part of that group. Giannis is a vet now. Giannis, Jokic, all those guys are vets. If we're talking about the Rising Star game, we're talking about rookies and sophomores and maybe third-year guys. Those guys have yet to make any impact on the league. That's why they're not marketable. You look at LeBron, you look at Steph, you look at KD, you look at Embiid. Look at what these guys have been doing this year alone. Just think about it. LeBron James is in his 19th season. He's 37 years old, and he's averaging 29 points a game. That's unheard of. We've never seen that before, right? Steph Curry, right? Again, the babyface assassin. Everyone knows Steph is back. The Warriors are back. They're not contenders. Joel Embiid, you couple that with the whole Sixer drama with Ben Simmons, He is the best big in the league today, right now as we speak, and probably a very he's a close number one for MVP, and we'll get into that conversation later. Um, you it's all about it's about what have you done for me lately type of league. That's what the league is about, and that's how they build it of marketability. That's why the drama gets so gets so covered, because it's a what have you done, or what's the new thing in what's the new thing that's in right now. Like the young guys, yes, they have promise, but they ain't selling no tickets. They ain't putting butts in the seats. It's the vets that's doing that. That's why the
Right.
NBA is promoting the vets more, because they've been through the ringer. There's a story to tell behind their success and their lineage within the league. The rookies, sophomores, and third year guys, they don't have that yet. Like you can make a case if that was Magic Johnson, because his rookie year, what did he do? Go to the finals and
Won the
win.
chip.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Those young guys
crazy.
have yet to do that. Like, yeah, John Morant has been putting the league on fire, what he's been doing. But you think the NBA is going to say, you know what, KD, LeBron, we're gonna focus on John Morant here? No, John Morant win a playoff series. John Morant get out the first round. John Morant go to the conference final. Like, you have to build those cases for yourself in order to be considered a somewhat face of the league. Like,
they need a story to tell.
They need a story to tell. And I get your point. There was a lot of young talent, and what I love about the league right now, there's so much parity, because there's no one team that you think is going to win the chip, right?
Yep.
And just by the talent pool of the young guys, you're going to see that going to be the norm going forward, because they're so spread out. There's no, I mean, unless you're the Cavs, because I think the Cavs are going to be like really good in a couple of years, like really dominant. But other than that, like, the young talent that's up and coming are spread across the league. So they're gonna, need the time, and there's gonna be a lot of opportunity for all of them to get that shine. But right now, it's all about the vets. It's all about the vets. It's always been that way. Think about it. Why is the Rising Star Challenge not on Sunday? Right? Like, if they wanted to market those young guys even more, put the Rising Star game on right before the actual All-Star game. If that's what you want to do. But you know why they're not going to do that? Because they don't market enough. They don't market it. Sunday is prime time.
It's always been that way, though. Right? It's always been that way. You look,
but that's what I'm saying.
Okay. All-Star game is even something for casual fans to watch. You're not about to turn on the TV and be like, who's this? But you turn on the TV, you see
it's
LeBron,
all about
you're
names
like,
and marketability, bro.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you on that. I'm just giving a different perspective,
Nah.
No, I get it. But when I saw your tweet, I was like, bro, like, that is crazy. Like, I know the young guys, there's a lot of great talent up and coming, but right now, man, the stories are about the vets. Think about this. All the contending teams, Eric. Do you have any young guys on there aside from maybe Memphis? But other than that, any young guys on there? Any young guys in Milwaukee? Any young guys in Miami? Any young guys in Brooklyn? Any young guys in Oh please! Oh please! Oh please! If you think Cam Thomas is going to bring the Nets to the conference finals,
also you got Tyrese Maxey in Philly.
He
please, that's Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey he'll come off the bench when James Harden is back. Again, another vet. So again, like, it's all about vets. It's all about who's leading the Suns right now. It ain't Ayton. It's Chris Paul, a vet.
Yeah.
Who's leading the Warriors? It ain't Wiseman. It ain't Kuminga. It's Steph, Clay, and Draymond. Like, it's all about the vets, man. Like, think about it. Look at the storyline with the Lakers, right? They ain't writing headlines on Austin Reeves and Stanley Johnson. They're writing headlines on LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook. Why? Because they're vets. Like that. The vets sell the league, and they know that, and the league knows that. They have endorsement deals. They have marketability. They have compelling stories, illustrious careers. They had special moments and bad moments. Like, it's the rookies have to be able to build that up before we can even, before the NBA even says, okay, let's market Josh Giddey. Like, well, Josh Giddey played for the Thunder. What else can he's good. He's a great up and coming talent, but can Josh Giddey take Josh Giddey on the Suns and take Chris Paul off? You think the Suns are still a threat?
Not at all.
Nope.
I'm just saying. It's all about marketability. I get your point, right? But I think the first thing is if you want them to showcase more of the young star talent, then and it's tough because even look at the TV deals.
Mm-hmm.
Who's on nationally televised TV? You don't see the Rockets on there like that. You don't see the Thunder on there. You don't see the Pelicans. Like what you see is the Lakers, the Heat, the Knicks, the Warriors, the Nuggets. You know what I'm saying? The Suns, the Sixers. All those guys have veteran stars on their team. All those teams have veteran stars, and that's what sells. That's what sells. So segueing from that into deeper into All Star, right? Tonight we have all the festivities, 3-point contest, the skills challenge, dunk contest. Any of you guys excited to see any of those?
I feel like so that's something that pretty much goes to what your point, what you were just talking about. Just the dunk contest just lately just haven't been something for me to care about,
And why is that, Lomani? Because I can tell you exactly why it's like
Why?
that.
There's no superstars in the dunk contest.
There's no vets.
But the thing is that it wasn't always that though. So I remember when Dwight was in it, Dwight was like a good 5 years into the league, but it was just so like everybody was talking about the dunk contest for like the next 2 weeks. I remember going back to school, everybody was talking about the dunk contest for the next 2 weeks. Now they're just picking these random players. They've been trying to change the format, and nobody just has been caring about the dunk contest. People been caring more about the 3-point contest because you have Clay, Curry. I remember it was one year. It was Clay, Curry, Devin Booker. You had a lot of just knockdown shooters. People were saying that the 3-point contest should be on last, should be the main event, opposed to the dunk contest. Because just nobody's just been caring about the dunk contest no more. And I get it. Like, there's so many dunks that you can do. There's so much creativity you can have, but just that element of the dunk contest is not there anymore. Like, it's gone. I remember LeBron said he was going to do it 1 year. What happened? He didn't do it. Ja Morant, he's flying all through the roof. Is he going to do a dunk contest? No. Zion Williamson, they call him the next Greg Oden. You know what I mean? So it ain't no star power to the dunk contest anymore. Nothing to be like, oh, I gotta watch this. Unless you are a fan of that team that participant is taking place in the dunk contest.
Well, for me, I think it would be the 3-point contest, which I'm looking forward to. The dunk contest, Jalen Green, Obi Toppin, which I thought he got robbed last year. Juan Toscano Anderson, and who else is on? Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like
no, but well, at least that. Okay, so I'm looking forward to the 3-point contest.
I
the fact that Karl Anthony Towns is in it is like, the 3-point.
Because apparently Cat says he's the greatest big who can shoot. Like, come on, man. Like, stop.
So it's gonna be interesting to see.
I'll give you one player who won the dunk contest and we never heard from him again. Jeremy Evans. Exactly. My point exactly.
Or what was his name from the Pacers?
Fred Jones.
Fred Jones.
Yeah, who did the yeah.
I still feel like Jay Rich should have won that year, but still.
Yeah, we haven't heard from Fred Jones either. Like that was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
I mean, Nate Robinson won it twice.
But the thing is,
one of them he kind of robbed.
Iggy.
He shouldn't have got one. He shouldn't have won it.
But the thing, it was like, it was something to watch. It was something to tune in. You was like, Nate, he going for his third dunk contest championship, and it was like, me being in elementary school watching, it's like, you got a 5'8" dude leaping like this, like that's crazy. You see what I'm saying? Like it was different stories. It was different narratives to the dunk contest that had you in tune to watch it. Remember when Dwight got in the phone booth and came out like Superman, and Shaq been on him ever since because Shaq is like, I'm the real Superman. Who is Dwight? Like, it was different narratives. Gerald Green was jumping out the gym, blowing out birthday candles and stuff like that, dunking with no shoes on. Or the last great dunk contest between Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. You know, that narrative. Aaron Gordon has gotten robbed every time he's been in a dunk contest, you know? So just that element, like when you don't have those type of players in there, it's a lost art. People really don't care about the dunk contest like they did.
Well, I get it. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens tonight. What about tomorrow? What y'all guys looking forward to in the All-Star game?
I got Ja Morant winning the MVP, winning All-Star game MVP.
You know what's crazy? I definitely had Ja Morant, but I think I'm gonna go with DeMar DeRozan, man.
Okay. Just to kind of like cap off the season he's been having. I could dig that.
Yeah,
I could dig
see
that.
DeMar going in. You know, I think what's going to be exciting to see. You know, that's why I wish LeBron would have drafted Ja Morant, because I want to see LeBron and Ja fast break. That would have been phenomenal to see.
Yeah.
But I think Team LeBron wins. I think DeMar DeRozan gets MVP. Yeah, man. I don't think LeBron's going to play a lot of minutes, if any. He'll obviously start, but like he'll coast throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what he did last year.
Yeah. So, and especially considering circumstances right now. Yeah. So, I got DeMar DeRozan as the MVP this year for the All-Star game. It's between him and Ja Morant, honestly, in my opinion.
I'm gonna just say one thing, I don't know, you guys could chime in as well too. I feel like we never got the chance to talk about it, even when they first released it. How you guys feel about the All-Star uniforms?
What Bubba Dub say? Trash. Yeah, I don't like them. See, like my wish would have been that let them wear their own jerseys like they did back in the 90s.
Yeah.
But here's a caveat: they wear their throwback. So every year is a different throwback jersey of their respective teams.
This year would have been a perfect year to do that.
That's what I'm saying. Think about how fire it would have been, like, to see Ja Morant in a Vancouver Grizzly jersey, or you know what I'm saying, or like
the Cleveland Cavaliers old jerseys.
Like the I'm talking about the blue one though, with the hoop on, with the hoop
orange.
on,
Shawn Kemp era.
Yeah, the Shawn Kemp era, the Clump Kemp, or like, you know what I'm saying, like Steph Curry in the We Believe in a Warrior jersey.
Yeah, that
you know what
I'm
saying?
That would have been
like
dope.
Or even like, there's no Piston in there, but DeJounte Murray wearing the old
Spurs.
Yeah, I mean they had the old Spurs one.
They were,
you know what I'm saying? Like something like that would have been, like, I think, fire. Like, have them wear their own jerseys for their own team, but make it a throwback. So every year All-Star is a different year of throwbacks that they're wearing. Like LeBron wearing the MPLS, you know what I'm saying, jersey. Like, that would have been crazy to see. Like, to bring those jerseys back.
Or Giannis wearing the Ray Allen Bucks.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
or Embiid wearing the black Sixer jersey. Like, bro.
Yeah. Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, especially this year, because of the 75th anniversary, I think paying homage to the throwback guys and the throwback jersey would have been fire, in my opinion. I think Nike and the NBA should really explore that option.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because I'm looking at it, I was thinking about copping the shorts, and I'm just like, man, these things is garbage, yo. Like, what really happened? And before I went live, I was just talking to a few of my friends about, like, the last good All-Star jerseys, and I think the last good All-Star jersey was 2013, man. Like, that was the last time they were really good, and ever since then, they've just been going downhill. I remember the last year Adidas had it, because it was the last year of their contract. They didn't care. They just threw some mess on the jersey. Then when Nike picked it up, they started doing this whole black and white theme. with the logo on the front. I'm just like,
Yeah, that was
that's
so plain.
it's kind of whack. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Or even if they don't do the throwback jerseys of their own respective teams, do throwback All-Star jerseys.
The
Yeah.
Like
1992
imagine,
jerseys.
no, the year the All-Star game was in Phoenix with they had the cactus, the cacti, all the jerseys were
95.
95.
95.
That would have been
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
On the All-Star game in San Antonio.
Oh, with the teal?
yeah,
Yeah.
with the
teal and
teal.
the white.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the chili pepper. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like
or they could go back to 1992 in Orlando. Those jerseys.
yep. They could do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's different ways. Like, yeah, that 92 with the All-Star on the bottom, red, white, and blue. Like, come on, like that is one nostalgic, and it gets fans excited to
And
see
remember
something
that
different.
was the year Magic came back, All-Star game.
Yeah.
And won the MVP.
Yep, exactly. Like, so I think they should explore that. Like, just change it up. Don't make new jerseys. Just make the throwbacks and make it available for fans to buy. Like, just you can get more. You'll get more excitement that way than just doing these new
it's
things.
also
Really
a licensing thing as well too. Because remember, if they was to go back and do some of these jerseys, you got to remember that Reebok, Champion, you know, they had a few of the they had the contract back in it. Even Puma, even Starter, they had
Starter had the contract too back then. So
so it's going to
which
be hard
fine.
for them to replicate.
But listen, I think Nike and
Just
NBA could sort that out though. They could
Just
sort
the
that out.
Yeah,
they could sort that out. So lastly, as we end this conversation, MVP. So Eric, we will start with you. Give me your in order. Put this in your order, right? Give me your top 5 MVPs this year. Because number one being like this is the guy that you think is going to win, followed by everyone else.
So at number 1, Embiid.
Okay.
Number 2, Jokic. Number 3, I'm going Giannis. Number 4, I'm going DeMar DeRozan. Number 5, I'm going. Number 5. Number 5. I'm going to go. Jeez. Devin Booker.
Okay.
I think he's a sleeper. He's a sleeper.
Yeah, I just think I hear you, and and before I get into my list, I got him at 6, 7. It's just I just think Chris Paul has made more of an impact than he has.
He's on my list.
Yeah, but I could put like Paul or Booker intertwined at 5 and 6. So you know.
Yeah.
But I think Jokic, he's not getting the credit that he's doing right now. I know he won it last year, and then knowing the whole voting system and how the media votes, it's like they don't want to a repeat MVP champion. So
yeah, because honestly, like Jordan could have had like 10 MVPs.
Yeah.
LeBron could have still been. LeBron dead seriously could have had about 12 league MVPs by now.
Yeah, because there's a few
Giannis definitely. Kobe should definitely have more than one. You know,
talk about it.
Shaq should definitely have more than 2 or 3.
And I think it's MVP fatigue that they want to avoid. So
yeah, it's a narrative base.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Which I don't like. It's like the whole narrative base. I just don't like it. It's like
if you get a chance to watch I forgot the name of. I think it's called Two Old Men. JJ Redick's podcast.
He had
Jason Tatum and talking about
Jason Tatum added some really good insight on like how like like all NBA voting is and how it's tied to contracts. And how like media, how like certain media person who has like actual votes can push a narrative for you not to get the incentive of money, or it's a crazy that I never knew that, and like to see that it's kind of messed up, man. Like because you don't like this certain guy or you don't like the way he takes shots. Like you can literally change the fact that he can miss out on money because you don't personally like the way he does things. Where
you see it every day on these national
as to what you have to do to kind of hit those marks, so to speak.
Yeah, and unfortunately you see it every day on ESPN and TNT or Bleacher Report, whatever national publications. Like their narratives shape up who should follow, who should win the MVP, who should win this, who should this. And it's like, I thought that on the court should only matter, not
right.
need a base narrative, made up talk.
Like for instance, right? Like First Take had a topic saying who would you rather build a team around, John Morant or
John Morant
Giannis? And I was like, wait a minute,
what?
Wait,
y'all could have talked about nothing else.
The 50-piece in Game 6 of the NBA Finals on the road,
and he made all his free throws.
He made all his free throws, 100% from the free throw line, and this man put up 50 points in a closeout game. And you're saying
NBA Finals
and with the Chick-fil-A the next day.
And you're saying, but I think I'd rather build around John Morant than Giannis. Like what are we doing?
It's a slow day. It's a slow day at the office. It's a slow day at the office.
Yeah.
So John Morant made the playoffs. Made his first playoff appearance last year. You were talking about, you want to build around. Like, stop it, Stephen A. This is why people are starting to lose respect for you.
Yeah. And let me not get on Stephen A. Mr. Oh, maybe the Lakers should trade Anthony Davis. Like, stop that, because now that talk is being talked about on every major sports media platform right now, and it's disgusting. It's really disgusting.
They control the narrative.
And also, this is why we don't claim as a Knicks fan.
But here's the thing that pisses me, and I know we're going off topic, but I need to get this on my chest. Like, what pisses me off is now there's this narrative with Anthony Davis, right? Yes, Anthony Davis doesn't injure a lot. We understand that, but to call him, he's injured, like he's glass and this and that and the third. Like, hello, players get injured in the league. Like, to use that against him, why don't we use that against Embiid? Why don't we use that against KD? Why don't we use that against Jimmy Butler? Why don't we use that against the likes of Steph Curry? Like, there's stars that get hurt every single year on a consistent basis. And all of a sudden, AD's the lone street clothes guy. No, all those guys are street clothes. I don't want to hear that. I'm tired of hearing that narrative. Like, no one is going to endure that pain, that the injury that he sustained on Wednesday. Nobody. I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes want to talk all crazy about AD's injury, but those same regular dudes go to the Y and play ball, can't get up the next morning. Like, stop it. Like, stop it, bro. Stop it. All right. To my MVP top 5. I never run along with so my number 1 is DeMar DeRozan. Because he has a slight edge over Embiid, who's my number 2. Just DeMar DeRozan this year has been playing phenomenal. I'm looking at his stats for the last couple months, and he's averaged since October, he's averaged 23 points in October, right? And then you go to November, 26 points, December 29 points, January 25.7, and then February 35.8. And right now, the Bulls are still sitting at the 2. They're tied for the number 1 seed right now, with the injuries of Lonzo, Caruso, Zach LaVine, not having Patrick Williams. I got to give credit when credit is due. I think DeMar DeRozan deserves his flowers. I think he's the lead candidate for MVP, in my opinion. Joel Embiid is a very, 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 very second. Like, I'm talking like he's right on the. It's almost like DeMar for me is 1A, Joel Embiid's 1B right now. After those two guys, I will go Jokic, because with no Michael Porter Jr. and no Jamal Murray, what he's been doing has been great. He's number 3. Number 4, I would go with Chris Paul. He's just been playing phenomenal. Off the sheer success that the Suns have had this year. And then number 5, it's a tie between John Morant and Steph Curry. That's my 5.
No Giannis?
No Giannis. No Giannis. Okay. Yeah, Giannis is a number 6, only because Giannis, even though Giannis has been playing well, they've only been playing well when the big three's on the floor together. Like, they haven't been really good outside of that. And they're sitting at the 5th seed right now. So I just gotta go with I gotta go with those guys instead.
Okay. It's crazy that when we did our early award predictions, I think you had Ja as potentially winning MVP this
I
year.
did. I did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did. I said. I
And
said. I think. I thought he was gonna. I said in the beginning of the year when I said surprise
this was
teams.
the year for the leap.
Yeah, I said this was the year for John Morant's leap, and here it
Mhm.
is. It's here.
Yep. Okay. With my 5, I have DeMar. He's playing out his mind right now. He's holding down the fort, especially with guys being in and out of the lineup. You got Caruso out, you got Lonzo out, you got Zach LaVine out. Like he's just really playing out of his mind. Really, really efficient. I believe he's averaging over the past 8 games. I believe he passed Wilt Chamberlain's record. It was like 35 points per
Yep.
game,
Yep.
eight
Yep.
eight straight, something like that, on like
hmm
incredible
Like I said,
shooting efficiency.
over the month, 19 days into the month, he's averaging 35.8 points a game.
And I feel like this is something that's not being talked about. He's doing it at the mid-range game. He's
That's a
doing
lost
it at
art right
the
now.
yes,
That's a
yes.
lost art.
It's so beautiful. There was one clip that I watched when he was playing against the Timberwolves,
And the money,
and
not to cut you off. I'm sorry,
go
but
ahead.
him and Kevin Durant right now are the 2 best mid-range shot
Whoa, whoa,
makers in the
whoa, whoa,
league.
whoa, 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 whoa,
Chris
whoa,
Paul
whoa.
as well. You
Let's
gotta
not
throw
let's
Chris
Chris
not
Paul in
forget
Paul.
there as
let's
well
not
too.
forget Chris Paul and
Okay,
and
Chris
even
Paul.
though he's out, and I can't stand this team. Lord knows I cannot stand this team. But I got to give credit when credit's
Paul
due.
George.
No, Kawhi Leonard's
Kawhi Leonard.
mid-range
Yeah,
game is godly. Like
yeah.
people forget
That's true.
because
Yeah,
he's been
that's
out.
true. Yep.
Kawhi Leonard's mid-range is
Fact.
godly, bro.
Yeah.
Like it is on another. It is Kobe Jordan-esque in my opinion with Kawhi Leonard's mid-range. So, but yeah, as right now, I get it.
So yeah, DeMar DeRozan. So the clip that I was talking about was against when he was playing the Timberwolves, and he had Pat Bev guarding him, and he hit Pat Bev with like the most perfect spin you'll ever see, and knocked down the jumper, and gave like Pat Bev the you're too small hand gesture. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, yo, he's really killing from the mid range, like that whole area on the court. Like that's something like you just said, Eric. That's a lost art.
Hmm.
Not many players are doing that. Your typical MVP or MVP front runner, person who's either dominate in the paint or they dominate on the perimeter behind the 3-point line. But DeMar, the fact that he's doing it in the mid-range game is just like, yo, it's so beautiful. He's creative with the combos, the in and out, the spin, the step back, the fade away. Like it's clean.
Hmm.
It's beautiful.
But
Number
I.
2, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. No, no. Finish your MVP list. I'm sorry.
Number 2, I have Jokic. He's playing out of this world, getting triple doubles just like consecutively. Keeping the Nuggets above flow, especially with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. being in and out of the lineup. Well, just not there, period. So he's just definitely holding it down. But then I think again that, like you guys said, that the NBA don't want to have another repeating MVP. They kind of like just finding out who's the next MVP is. But he doesn't get talked about much. The the fact that the Nuggets even have a Christmas game this year is crazy, and he's the MVP. Um, then 3, I have Joel Embiid, especially with the whole Ben Simmons thing. But with James Harden added to the equation, he it kind of like cancels himself out. Even though it's kind of unfair to say, even though he's been on to a hot start for the first half of the season, uh, I feel like James Harden can make his play a whole lot better though, but can also cancel him out as well too, especially since James Harden is very, very ball dominant. 4th, I have Chris Paul. He's the clear front reason why the Phoenix Suns is playing at the level they're playing at. They're number 1 in the in the conference. I believe in the league. I believe number 1 in the league. Even though I hate to give the Suns credit because they get on my nerves. Like I hate Jay Crowder and I hate Cameron Payne, but you got to give credit where credit's due. Chris Paul is playing out his world. Um, he literally came from the Thunder 2 seasons ago, and now they went to the finals last year, and they're still in championship talks. Like, shout out to Chris Paul. You got to thank Chris Paul for that. And number 5, I have Giannis. It's more like the quiet season, but he's still putting up the numbers. But I know he's been dealing with, not him personally, but the team's been dealing with like a lot of injuries. So it's kind of hard for them to get into a rhythm. But the stats speak for Giannis. So that's my top 5.
All good stuff there. You know, it's going to be interesting to see. Um, Again, like I said, what I love about this year is that there's so much parity. You don't know who's going to win the championship. You don't know who's going to be league MVP. Um, so it's a good sign for the league. But I do anticipate somewhere down the line, whether it's next year or the following, there's going to be a super team that forms. It just happens. Like it always happens every once a couple of years. You're going to get a juggernaut, all these stars being put together. So
Do you think we'll see something bigger than what we seen with Kyrie, KD, and Harden? Because remember when we seen Curry, Clay, KD, Draymond, and DeMarcus Cousins? We was like, whoa.
Yeah, I think here's the thing. Like what helped that of not happening going on further down the line
DeMarcus Cousins.
is the whole the whole drama issue between Kyrie, KD, and James Harden. But
which was a story. Which was a story, fascinating story by itself.
Yeah, but I think if there's going to be a time where it's going to make sense for stars to just align for certain players and they will actually get along and they will actually make the sacrifice, because it happens every time. Like, think about it. Every certain amount of years, the history always repeats itself in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to have teams that come together. Think about the 04 Lakers that just don't work. Like, they have so much talent, and you know when they put it together, they're going to be unbeatable. Like, i.e., like the Nets, right? Like when those three were on the floor, they were clicking. They had the greatest offense of all time. Like they had
the offensive efficiency.
Excuse me. Right. So, like, there's always going to be that what if factor, but then, like, you gotta, with situations like that, you gotta factor in personalities. You gotta be able to, like, those stars have to understand, are they ready to sacrifice for one another? Like,
also culture fit.
Yeah, culture fit, coaching, front office, all that stuff have to be on point for it to work. That's why it works so well in Golden State. That's why it works so well with Miami, because, like, those guys understood what they had to do to sacrifice. But, like, it'll happen. Like, I could guarantee you, I don't know what team it's going to be, but we're going to see a super team form down the line. It's going to happen. It's just we have to accept that, understand that when it happens. But but I like the parity. If there's duos, fine. Let it be duos around the league. If it's one star around the league, let it be one star on every team. Whatever. But, like, I like what I see now, because
2020 was really balanced with the duos.
It gives more, and that's why I tell people, like, you could discredit the Lakers with the bubble championship all you want. Every team had an opportunity, the same opportunity. Every team. So I don't want to hear, they only won because of the bubble. No, they won because they were the best team. Everyone had the same playing field. If you could make a case, the Lakers had a disadvantage because they didn't have home court. But whatever. So, needless to say, I think I like where the league is going, and I hope it stays this way, because it gives more interesting storylines, and it gets you more excited, because it'll require a role player to step up. It's going to require a guy that you don't plan for, that these coaches don't plan for, to step up and take it to the next level. So it's going to be good to see. I hope it continues, but I do predict there will be a super team forming in the next couple of years. It's just a matter of when and where or what that team is.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. So this is, I think it's a matter of which player and what team is going to be positioning themselves to make those moves to form that team. So depending on
Dame, get out of Portland.
Free agency, trade, teams are going to start shopping. Teams are going to start, positioning themselves to see what next super team could be formed. And also, I think that since they're going to be a new CBA in a couple of years, I think it might be less super teams because more players are going to stay with their teams because of the money, and because the contract can be astronomical the next 3 years with the new TV deal and the new CBA, which is coming up. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it is. And your take on Dame Armani, like, listen, maybe, and I gotta give credit to the Lakers guru because he did tweet this out, and I didn't look at it this way, but I've been dawning on it for a day now since he posted it. But Dame had came out because he had an interview with Complex, and
Oh God.
I quote, Damian Lillard's quoted, I'm loyal to what I believe. I do love living in Portland. I do love playing for the Portland Trailblazers. But I've built this. I've been a part of this for 10 years. I know what it means. I know what it means to me in my heart, and that's winning a championship. So, he's doubling down on him staying, right? But maybe, and I'm going to quote Lakers Guru's tweet. He retweeted this and said, I would argue that he's absolutely running from the grind. Zero realistic title expectations is actually pretty comfortable. If you think about it, if you look at it, he's kind of right if you look at it from that aspect. Like there's no expectation in Portland, so if you fail, it's not going to be a big thing because you look at the team like, oh, they don't got a team to win a championship.
Right.
I'm just saying.
There's no expectations up in Portland. Like, come on now.
Yeah. So whatever, it is what it is. But we conclude this till next time, guys. Thank you for listening to the Swoosh Hoops podcast. Have a joyous All-Star weekend.
Join that spaces 5:00.
Yeah, join our spaces at 5:00.
Yes, sir.
On Twitter. And yeah, man, looking forward to the second half of the season. It's going to be an interesting one, right? Well, we'll leave with some questions like what are the Lakers going to look like? AD's injury, what are the Knicks going to do? Obviously, are they going to tank or try to fight to get in the play-in?
Why fight for a play-in?
What does yeah, and we'll finally get to see what the James Harden and Embiid duo looks like after All-Star, and then we'll get the addition of Ben Simmons back on the court playing for Brooklyn, and KD comes back from his MCL injury. So it's gonna be a lot of interesting things to see.
And the Kyrie factor.
And Kyrie, yes.
And the Kyrie factor, yeah, because I do think wholeheartedly, that mandate is going to be
about to end. I think it's
about to end for New York City.
It never made sense to begin with.
And because Adam Silver put it out there and said it doesn't make sense for a player who can't play at home, but an unvaccinated player could come in the arena and play.
We were talking about this in the beginning with the whole Andrew Wiggins and Bradley Beal thing.
Yep. So
it made no sense.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to remove the mandate because in Chicago on the 28th, they're removing the mask mandates. They already did it in California, in the state of California. So they're starting to loosen up all this stuff. Summertime is around the corner, springtime. Everybody want to be outside. So I definitely think by the playoffs, where it's nice and warm outside, Kyrie will be playing every single game. Which is definitely dangerous for the rest of the teams in the East because, golly, I personally think the Nets got way better adding Ben Simmons, in my opinion. But,
no, that's a fact. I agree.
I think they got better long term because
but I think they got better even this year without because if you look at
they got defense,
and rebounding,
bro,
and good quality role players.
All Ben Simmons has to do is what he wants to do, and that's pass, rebound, and defend. That's it. You don't got to shoot.
And I think it's more pressure on the Sixers these next 2 years to win the chip.
Oh yeah.
Because now you got Doc Rivers going to be on the hot seat. James Harden's playoff history is going to be on the hot seat. So, and then you're going to waste Joel Embiid's great years for another second round exit. That's not good.
I hate to say it, man. I hate to say it because we need more black coaches, especially what's going on with Brian Flores, who just got hired by the Steelers to be a defensive coach, right?
Yeah.
So shout out to him. I just wish he got a head coaching gig. But we all know the propaganda with the NFL. But anywho, I just feel like if Doc Rivers, man, if they don't make a run, D'Antoni's sitting on the sideline. So I'm just letting you know.
It's a reunion. It's going to be the Houston Rockets reunion.
The Houston Rockets.
Yeah, it's going to be the Houston Sixers.
The Houston Sixers.
Yeah. The Philadelphia Rockets.
And think about that. It's like, wait a minute, you're gonna have possibly Mike D'Antoni to replace him with Joel Embiid and his history.
Ariza will pull up.
Yeah, y'all can have Ariza. My God.
And Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, y'all have Ariza. Y'all can have I want DeAndre Jordan too. Y'all can have him. You want Bazemore? You can have him. Anywho,
Alec Burks, go
until
go
next
get him,
time,
please.
guys. We're rambling, but
We'll see
until
y'all.
next time, join our spaces in a half hour,
Yeah.
and we'll see you when you see you. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.